Good morning, guys. Welcome back to the channel. My name is Jalen Dawes, of course, and this is Jalen Unplugged. Today is Tuesday. It is 7:10 a.m. It is July 21st. And for those who don't know, it is the day before my birthday. My birthday is tomorrow. I don't have any plans, so I don't know what I'm going to be getting into tomorrow. Zion, you're being an attention whore. Cut it out. Go lay down. No. So like I was saying before, I was rudely interrupted by Mr. Zion here. Today we are gonna be trading with my student today. Zion. Oh my goodness, Zion. Shut up. Shut up. Zion. It's a microphone. It's a microphone. It's not a toy, dude. Look. Bro, he's over here crying at the microphone. He wants the microphone. No. Bro, look at him. Look at him. Look at him. This is what he's staring at. No. Okay, bro, I'm done playing with you. I'm done messing with him. There we go. Alright. Alright, we got a lot of time before we actually have to start. So do you wanna go over anything in particular?
There's nothing in particular that I can think of at the moment. There is just a general sense of a little confusion about the particulars that I can't put my finger on.
Mm-hmm.
For example, when you're looking at, let's say, a high supply or a lower demand,
Right.
it's transition. I guess it's transitioning from a longer, higher time frame to a shorter one.
Mm-hmm.
Um, the priorities at a higher one, but I'm not sure how. I'd like to know more about what your line of thought is. What's
Like
going through
the
your head?
correlation,
Why?
like how the higher time frame matches with the shorter one, with the smaller one. Is your
How
question?
do you how do you determine? I guess by looking at the supply and demand areas, what's the transition? How do you transition from the higher to the lower?
Okay, so I'll just do so let me run through like what I see currently,
Uh-huh.
and then if it makes sense to you, let me know. If it doesn't, also let me know.
Yeah, that'd be a good idea.
Okay, so let's start.
All right, so that's the first demand.
Mm-hmm.
Was there another one on daily,
No,
or that was the only one
that
on
was the
daily?
only one, yeah.
So on a 4 hour, I see how you're doing it. So you're taking the supply, a supply that has not been broken. Now you went further to the left than I. Why did you go? Why did you start the supply zone all the way on the left? What was the significance?
Over
Why
here.
not the one? Yeah, was that just a subjective?
No. So the only reason I did that is because I like to see where price bounced and why it bounced. So
I
if
see. Just got the
without
point.
this
Okay.
here, all it looks like is a bunch of mess. Like you
Mm-hmm.
can see price came back up, but then it went back down. But why did it go back down?
Right. Mm-hmm.
That's what I look for. I always look for reasons why something is happening or why something could happen. So the reason on why this is happening in my eyes, I could be wrong because all trading really is theories. It's a bunch of
Right.
theories.
Right.
So in my eyes, this is a supply right here, which is what pushed price back down. Since
Mm-hmm.
I trade price action and supply and demand, that is all I'm looking for is why price action is reacting a certain way. And in my theory, it's always going to be because of supply and demand. If we go
Right.
up, we have to move back down in order to keep moving back up, and vice
Mhm.
versa. If we're moving down, we're going to have to move back up in order to keep moving back down. So I just want to find what the overall trend is on the daily time zone, on the 4 hour time zone, on the 1 hour, where we are currently in price and where price looks like it wants to go. So if we're on an uptrend on the 4 hour, but the 1 hour's on a downtrend, I'm gonna wait for that 1 hour downtrend to end to keep going with the higher time frame.
Okay.
So all I'm doing is finding what the higher time frame is doing and then seeing what the smaller time frame is doing and waiting for it to
I see.
correlate.
I asked that question poorly because I was on the 4 hour and I was wondering, you're on the daily. I now see why you did it on the daily.
Yes, yeah. So we have a demand here on the 5 minute because we had a, technically this would have been the demand, but there's no gap down here anymore. Price already came back down, filled whatever gaps were left, and then we continued to push higher. And we broke this high here, we broke this high here, we broke this high here, we broke this high here. So everything is saying go for a buy off of
Right.
this demand. So when price ran down, I was
Uh-huh.
like, okay, I want to sell because we broke all of these lows here. And then price pushed down again. And I was like, okay, I really want to sell because now we broke all of these lows here. And right here on this candle, price should have came back to fill if we wanted to keep dropping. That's what should have happened. But instead, we continued to fall and we started to bounce on this demand. Now, I knew that price would not be bullish for a long run because we continue to fail making new highs strongly. If we were going to
Yes.
make a new high and we want to go bullish, we're going to go bullish. Price is not going to play
Yes.
around.
Yes. Yes.
So when you go to the 1 minute, we had a couple chances for price to do that and to keep going, but it never did. Right here, we had a new demand form. What happened? Price came up, pushed down, swept the low of that demand, but then what did it do right after? Broke the high. So
Mm-hmm.
that signified to me that I could take a buy. So now all I was waiting for was for a good retest of this low over here, and then I jump in for a buy. Okay, yeah. So off of the low here. So this was the low that I was watching for price to come back down to see if it's going to sweep it or if it's going to respect
Mm-hmm.
it. And as you can see, I don't mark zones on this on the 15 second just because the 15 second is your technically your noise chart,
Yeah.
but if you just follow the bigger time frame structure, you will be okay. So as you can see here, 15-second made a new demand, and what happened? Price came down, it pushed back up. I got in right here. I got in a little late, but even
But
still,
wait, your stop loss is I thought your stop loss would be a little lower.
so yes, you can, but the way I like to do it, I try to get in and out as fast as possible. So I do start with my stop loss here, but then
Mm-hmm.
once we start pushing and we're not coming back down, I like to just move my stop loss up to get out as soon as possible because now
I see.
this is our low. So if we
Uh-huh.
break this low, we're gonna break this low because now we're going back bearish. Because you have to
Yes.
remember, higher time frame technically is bearish because we have a high here, a high here, and all of our highs are getting lower, lower, lower. And then
Mm-hmm.
you see here, we had the last low made, swept all of these lows, but respected this one. We had a
Yeah.
bearish closure and then a bullish closure. I
I came
enter
up with.
on the bullish closures.
Okay.
And then you can set your stop loss here. And even then, go for a 1 to 3. 1 to 3 was hit. And then what happened? Swept everything out.
Okay.
So what I do when I'm trading, I like to trail my stop loss because yes, when you're right, don't get me wrong, you're not coming back to entry. It will just continue to run. But
Uh-huh.
especially in on days like yesterday where price
Yeah.
action is very iffy, you want to be
Mm-hmm.
in and out as fast as possible, make your money and leave. Do not sit around all day on a chart when you have consolidation because consolidation can still bite you in the ass because that's all we were doing here was consolidating, but you were still
Right.
able to make your move.
Mm-hmm.
Because you can see here on the 5 minute, let me move this. We had a low, we had a high, higher low, higher high. That is all you need. That was your bullish price action for the short time period before price swept everything out. And as you can see, we took the high. Oh no, we didn't take the overall high, which is probably why price pushed back down once it came up into this.
Right. Yes.
But
Yes.
yeah, we had this high broken. You should have been able to get out at the high because you got in way down here. That's
Uh huh.
more than a 1 to 4, and you could have still got your 1 to 4, got out, and then you could have waited to see what price wanted to do. Price finally came, took out all of this price action, and it bounced off of this demand here. Because now you see we swept this liquidity, because on we have
Mm-hmm.
to remember we're still on the smaller time frame. If you go to the 5 minute,
Mm-hmm.
this looks like a better demand because this is where price started to push, and then we came back, respected the low, and then pushed again. So because this low didn't get broken off of this, I wanted to wait and see what we were going to do in this area. And then once we came down into this area, let's go to the 15 second. All right, right here. So like I said, when price wants to go in a direction, it's going to go in that direction. So right here, price came down, made a low, pushed up, made a high, pushed back down, made a higher low. Then we broke that high, making a new higher low. And then now I would want to see price come back and retest the low. If we break this low, that means price just wants to keep going down. And if it keeps going down, we're just going to continue to wait because we wait on the closure of a bullish candle before entering. So we had the push back up, and then we pushed back down to retest this low. We had a bearish closure here. After retesting, it came close but did not break the low. And then we had a bullish closure. I was still too nervous to enter on this because of how
Mm-hmm.
far we came down. I decided to wait a little bit longer, and then I ended up entering right here. That was the wrong one. Right here, right at the break of the zone with my stop loss at the low. And then I took my 1 to 3 and I trailed to 1 to 3. As soon as we broke above this and I looked to the left and I seen this supply, I
Yeah.
got super nervous and I trailed. As soon as the price popped up here, I trailed
Right.
to the 1 to 3 and it came back and took me out. That was my last trade of the day, and I didn't want no more parts of it. But as you can see, if I would have just held it, I could have gotten a little bit more. But what happened right after? Price came back to fill gaps with this candle right here and technically did not break that low. So we were still bullish. And what happened after that? Crazy move to the top because we never broke this zone for the low right here. This low was never broken. It came down, it got real close, but it did not break it. Or if I can make my zone correctly. Yeah, there we go. Because see, it's still contained within that zone. So even though it came super close to the pip, if your stop loss was super tight, you would have gotten stopped out. But if you sag your stop loss just a little bit under the zone, which is what I like to do, because if I'm gonna be wrong, I'm gonna be wrong. I would rather be know I'm wrong than to have my stop loss super tight and get stopped out and then price to do what it did. Because you would miss out on this whole move here.
Right.
So let's do.
I'm so mesmerized by your thinking here.
Yeah, I mean, it's very different, but as long as you can make it make sense to you, that's all that matters. If you can make the market make sense to you and you're not constantly losing, like you're making money and losing, because you're going to lose, it's going to happen. But you want to make sure if you're losing, it's because you're making a mistake that you can tweak. You don't want to be losing because of your strategy. If you're losing because of your strategy, you need a new strategy or it's just not working with you. Because don't get me wrong, all strategies work. You just got to know how to work it.
Right.
Because you can be a trend line trader, you can be a supply and demand trader, you can be a order block trader. Like everything has a different name, but it's all the same shit because it's all one chart.
Hmm?
It's all one chart. So I just try to make it make sense for me. I don't try to grasp everything. You're not going to be able to understand everything. It's not made for, like, trading is very subjective, and it's very depending upon the person. So I would never tell you this is the right way, this is the wrong way. Like, trading is literally just making money and making sense of what's happening in front of you. That's all it is. If you can make sense of what's happening in front of you, you can make money. That's all trading is. It's just you need to make sense of what's happening in front of you. That's all it
Yeah,
is.
this is starting to make sense a lot.
Exactly. I'm glad it is. So now, with today's price action, very ugly, but we know we have a daily zone on our side over here. That's why we were getting this push to the top side. Now, with how super bearish we are, I'm not super biased for buys unless price comes back down here. If we come back into this area down here, then yes, I wouldn't mind taking a buy. I'm not going to sell low. I would rather buy low. Now, we are not going to have a good like demand based off of those candles that we had there. Bro, very, very long trading session, but well needed. I was able to get all the information out that I needed for him. I'm so glad that he's able to not only understand what I'm talking about, but implement it in real time and see what's actually happening. He was able to take his first trade using the system, and it worked. Like, bro, y'all have no idea. Y'all have no idea how happy it makes me for me to be able to make a system. And like he said, it's not a trading strategy. It's a way of thinking. The way I'm breaking these markets down and showing it, no one else is doing this, bro. Like, he's even said it. This will be the fifth person to tell me that they have never thought about trading the way I do. They've never looked at the market the way I do. And it came over time with a lot of hours on the market, bro. But y'all have no idea how good it makes me feel to see the work I've been putting in for the last 3 years to be making an impact not only in my trading, but everyone else. The information that I'm providing actually helps. That is what makes me feel good. It's not even the fact that I can do it. It's the fact that I can tell someone what I'm seeing and why I'm seeing it, and it makes sense to them, and they can then do it. That is what I do this for. And bro, I just pray that it continues this way. Like, I don't want where I'm explaining something to someone and it not make sense to them why I'm saying what I'm saying. Like, if I run into someone that just completely does not understand me, I don't know how to help them because I can only break it down the way I know it. So I literally just break the market down the way I know it and the way it makes sense to me, and it just has been making sense to everyone. So I don't know what I'm gonna do the day that I meet someone that doesn't trade or doesn't have the mindset that I do, because I feel like it's a mindset thing for sure. Like, you have to be in that mindset of not being a victim. You have to be in the mindset of, this happens, why is it happening? That happened, why did that happen? That is how I think when I approach the market. I don't approach the market thinking like, oh, this happened, but I don't know why. Why is it happening to me? Why are you doing this to me? I don't think like that. I think like, the market's moving this way. Why is it moving this way? Let me find why. Where's that supply zone that pushed it down? Where's that demand zone that pushed it back up? How did that demand zone form? Why did that demand zone form? Was there another zone behind it? Was there a higher time frame zone behind it? And that is the way I look at the market, and that is the way I think. And bro, it works. It works. Bro, it works. I have the proof. I have my profitable months, my profitable year. Like, I am profitable. I've been profitable for the last 2 years. And for the last year, my profitability has shot through the fucking roof. It has shot through the roof. Bro, I was profitable last year, but just barely. I was profitable last year. I ended up profitable last year, but just barely. I made profits, but I was losing a lot of profits. This year, bro, I've made more we're in July. I've made more money in the first 7 months of this year compared to my last 2 years total. My last 7 months has been some of the best trading that I've done in the last 3 years. 4 years, technically. The last 4 years. But in the last 7 months, after getting this strategy down and trading only this strategy, the one that I made, bro, ever since then, my trading has took it to another level, bro. Completely other level. No one, I repeat, no one trades the way that I trade. I made my strategy off of years of trial and error, years of losing, years of blowing accounts. Bro, you cannot be afraid to blow an account. Why are you afraid to lose $100? Why are you afraid to lose money? Period. It's money. There's more made every single day. There's money made out of thin air. Like, bro, when you really think about it, you're on a computer at your house. Your computer has no money inside of it, but you have the ability to make an unlimited amount of money from your computer or your phone. Devices that have been made just recently, but money's been around so much longer. Currency has been around so much longer. So how is it that off of a phone, a tablet, a computer, laptop, whatever it is that you're trading on, how is it that you're able to make all this money out of nothing? Especially prop firms. Bro, you pay $100 for an account, but you can make $2,000 off of it? How does that even make sense? Off of looking at candles and charts. Like, you're not physically depositing money into the chart and it deposit back what you put in. That's not what's happening. You're literally making money out of thin air. You can put $100 on a trade and you can make $1 million. Do you not understand that? Like, you can put $2,000 on a trade and make $1 billion. Like, $200,000 off of $1. Like, these are things that people are doing. Money's not real. When you understand money's not real and you just need to cut the emotions out of it, you'll be so much better. So much better. That is the switch that was made in my head. That money's not real. So why are you getting emotional that you're losing $1,000? You only paid $100 for the account. All you gotta do is pay another $100 and you get that $1,000 right back. So that is the change that I made, and it's gonna be making a difference for everybody else too. So let's go ahead and get on to the next part of our day.